Hello, greetings from Waliczka near Krakow in Poland once again. It's blazing here, and I've had to kind of put the shutters down in this room. It's almost 30 degrees, and not for the first time this year. It's been pretty warm actually, on and off for the last few weeks. And it was pretty warm in February. I think it was the warmest February on record. So crazy weather. A little too hot for me, but never mind. I don't have to go out much, so I can't complain. I'm here this time just to talk about the OTO event that happened 2 Saturdays ago in London. Yeah, the label event at Cafe OTO, and also the last couple of releases that have appeared on my labels, Fourth Dimension Records and Lumberton Trading Company. But first, I'm being distracted by the music that I'm playing, which is the latest album by And Also the Trees. It's called Mother of Pearl Moon, and it features a lot of the trademark characteristics that one finds in And Also the Trees work. It's got the mandolin style guitar on a few songs, the sultry, poetic or romantic vocals of Simon's, some nice arrangements that are quite luscious at times and also quite dramatic. Really good album. I've played this a few times since I was given a copy of this in England by my good friend Gary Levermore, and I'll write about this at some point as well. I think it's been out for several months, but really good. I love And Also the Trees, and this album is no exception. It's phenomenal. And a very much underrated group who I think always deserved far greater recognition, but I would say that about countless groups or artists. Anyway, to go back to what I said about I referred to OTO, the event at Cafe OTO in London 2 Saturdays ago. It was a success. I think all of the artists enjoyed themselves. They all wrote to me and said that they loved it, or they thought it was fun, enjoyable, and so on. There was a good audience. It was packed, so it was sold out. It sold out in advance anyway. And I just had a great time. The music during the evening was nice. There was a nice dynamism to it, which was always the intention and has been with past events of mine as well. That was the third I've done in London. Again, absolutely nothing to complain about whatsoever. If I've got one minor quibble, it would be the fact that, as usual with these kind of occasions, I just don't have enough time to talk to everybody. There are so many friends and old faces and new faces as well. People are talking to me, and I just wish I had more time for everybody. So I'm thankfully I went to Herne Bay, my old hometown, on the Friday, and I stayed with my good friend Rob, who used to do Grim Humour with me back in the day, back in the 80s. Stayed with him for a couple of nights, so on Friday and Saturday night as well. And at least going to Herne Bay on Friday afforded me the opportunity to catch up with a load of friends from Herne Bay on the Friday evening. My friends Kerry and Karen, Gary again, Paul Splinter's bass player, Paul Wright. He came over. We all went for an Indian meal. Met a couple of other friends in a pub after as well. Lee, my friend Dean came for the meal, and his wife Sue. So a good evening. But certainly when it came to the Saturday itself, getting to London, even though I got there at 3:15, my youngest son was there with his girlfriend. Hadn't seen them. Hadn't seen my son Lewis for a long time, so wanted to catch up with him. Thankfully, managed to go out for a meal with him. He actually found a really good vegetarian restaurant near Cafe OTO, just a couple of blocks away. So we went there. I'm not vegetarian, but the food was good. So and didn't involve tofu, which I hate tofu. I hate many things. When it comes to food, I'm really fussy. It's one of the reasons I couldn't really become vegetarian, or I certainly couldn't become. I just don't have the self-discipline for that. But I do eat vegetarian dishes, but from time to time, maybe even once or twice a week, but on average. But no, I like I like meat too much. And again, I'm just too fussy. So I've already got a narrow range of things that I like. So I don't want to narrow it further. And tofu, absolutely, it's vile. Looks like something my young daughter should be playing with, like Play-Doh or something. Although I think Play-Doh probably tastes better. So anyway, that's upset a lot of people probably. And yeah, don't lecture me about what's involved with farming and everything. I'm fully aware. I read a really good book years ago called Meat Market. Quite eye-opening, and it didn't have that agenda either. Really good book. And also my ex-wife she's now vegan, and my two boys in England, adult sons, they're vegetarian. So I've been on the front line with some of this stuff. But no, it's not for me. Sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. Anyway, Otto was good. Great evening, and I hope I can do another event in London later next year. I need to find a venue. I'd like to do 2 nights again. I'd like to do it while I've still got some energy in me and desire to do this. So next year might afford me another opportunity, maybe late next year, like October or November. I need to find a venue. Maybe Otto would agree again. I don't know. But I want 2 nights, and I want Splintered, my group, to have the chance to play longer than just 30 or 40 minutes. Because the rest of the group that I'm, that I ruin with my vocals, work really hard, and also they're really good. I think we were fucking underrated as well. So although we did 2 John Peel sessions back in the 90s, so there was a modicum of recognition, but yeah, I always felt, there could have been more. So when I don't, like most people, you don't listen to your own music much. Of course, I've listened to the latest CD, the Splintered CD, just to check it and appreciate it a couple of times. But once you do that, you never really go back to it. So I've done that. Don't really listen to old work that I've been involved with, but not personally anyway, and not directly. Of course, I listen to old label releases and things, but I whenever I do, I just think, I think it's a bloody good group. you know, I would say that whether I was involved or not. I might even be the weakest link. So I've been the first to admit it. My vocals are terrible. So I do my best, but I'm limited with what I can do, and there's always something I want to, do vocal. I can't say I want to sing about because I can't sing. But there's always, and I do try to better myself. But no, I might be the weakest link in Splintered. I have to concede, but everybody else, yeah, they're shit hot. So luckily, I think my vocals, just to be, to not be self-mocking for a moment, I do think they sit well, in the framework of what we're doing, and that was always the idea. But it's the rest of the group that makes Splintered what it is, I think. So I'm, doffing my cap to them now because they work hard. They worked hard before Otto. They really, put the hours in and the effort, and I think they're good. I just think they're good players. And again, we've probably got a limited lifespan now. Although we want to do some more work, I think there'll be another release perhaps next year. I don't know. I think we're going to continue recording and whatever. But anyway, Otto was fantastic, and I want to do something again of that nature in London next year. So watch this space. If you did come along to the event as well, then I hope you enjoyed it as everybody else has said they have. I also hope that, for example, some of Edward Ka-Spel's fans, there were people there for each of the different artists, or some of the Bass Communion fans. I hope some of them got something from the rest of the evening, or the ATV fans. I hope that there was something new for some of them at least, that they enjoyed, and then went home and explored more. That was always partly the idea that I had for this, and it's always been partly the idea. It's the idea even that propels my 7 CD deal on my labels, that's been available in the shop now it's an ongoing deal for 7 CDs that I release. And it's a deal that's been ongoing since the beginning of last year, I think. So, or maybe even the year before, maybe 2 years running now. So, I like the idea of people being able to get, music affordably, and maybe they'll discover or hear something new in the process, and it will just turn them on to that, And if they're like me and they prefer physical releases, CDs or vinyl or even cassettes, then I'm going to do my best to encourage that. And I always do as well. I'm very often offering deals when people write to me and buy 2 or 3 records or CDs. How about this just for an extra £3 or whatever? I'm very often doing that. Somebody wrote to me yesterday in relation to the Bass Communion CD and said, it's nice to get a human response. Because that's the other thing I do, and I probably don't talk about this enough. I reply to everybody, personally. There's not an automated response going out. I do sometimes, use the same email to respond to some people, depending on what they're inquiring about. But it's always, me hands-on doing it directly, and very often I'll write something personal to people as well. So yeah, there's a lot of work involved in that side of it. I must spend an hour. Never really analysed it, but I must spend upwards of an hour or hour and a half a day just dealing with emails, responding to them. So there's a lot of work involved in all this. Anyway, OTO's one thing. I've talked about that enough. At OTO, there was a merch stall, and on the merch stall, there were plenty of old releases of mine. My youngest son, Lewis, and his girlfriend, Ellie, handled the stall. They did a great job at doing this. They also dealt with some other people's wares as well, like Franz de Waard, or who was the other one? Mark Perry. Yeah, he had a new cassette. So they took care of the stall. But there were, of course, copies of the new Bass Communion CD there, and there were copies of the new Splintered CD there as well as Edward Ka-Spel's Tales from the Trenches, and recent ATV releases, and so on. But yeah, this appeared about 3 weeks ago. So the latest album from Splintered, between Scylla and Charybdis, which is a reference to Greek mythology, and very much relates to some of the ideas propelling the words, in a metaphorical kind of way. But I don't want to go into that. I don't want to bore you. I'm sure I bore you enough already. And I'm not here to talk about, all of that. But this appeared 3 weeks ago on Fourth Dimension Records, nicely packaged and featuring stunning photography of Paul Wright, the bassist's sculptures, because he is a sculptor and art teacher at Canterbury. Lovely stuff there. I probably said it in my last upload, but the idea, firstly, I suggested to him that we use his sculptures because he does really interesting work on the cover, and of course he was happy to oblige. But then having watched a few months ago a couple of documentaries about Pink Floyd's Metal album, which I really like, especially Echoes, of course. I think there's one Duff song on the other side, but Echoes is fantastic. But if you know Pink Floyd's Metal, it's got a really interesting front cover, and it's of an ear, close up of an ear, submerged underwater. So I then hastily wrote to Paul and said, how about we put your sculptures underwater? So it's complete plagiarism of the idea of, on Pink Floyd's Metal. But it works really well. And 4-page booklet inside. So they're shipping at the moment and have been for the last 2 weeks. I think I shipped out most of the orders, but today the postman returned about 10 packages to me that were missing green customs forms. So they've had to be repackaged and they're being sent again. So some of those included the Splintered CD. So if you're waiting for it, you'll have to wait a little longer, I'm afraid. But it will be worth it. I've had good feedback on it so far. So Splinter CD is one thing. That's the latest CD on Fourth Dimension Records. Having followed the Mummies Madmen on Winter Hill Recordings, and the one before that, Fallen Sons, Beyond the Flat Earth on Fourth Dimension as well. If you've participated in the 7 CD deal, they're all included, as indeed are the forthcoming CDs by Reverse Image and Thomas William Bailey, and there's a new Kleistwahr album underway as well. I got sent the link to that a few days ago. Sounds absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, I've said it many times before, but Gary is on a roll. So, so there's Kleistwahr happening, and there's also the reverse image and Thomas Bay, William Bailey. And, sorry, arms going dead. Oh dear. Following the rest of me. Yeah, so there's at least 12 CDs around the corner, so to speak, happening very, very soon. The other CD that happened recently, of course, just in time for Otto, was the Bass Communion album, The Itself of Itself. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Featuring stunning photography by Cole Glover, who Stephen introduced me to at Otto, a really nice chap. Great photographer. And I think he said in an email to me that he was originally from the Medway area, Chatham, in Kent, in England. So he was aware of Billy Childish and people like that. And I think has even done some work for Billy Childish. But this features, so yeah, nice guy who likes all kinds of music. And it was nice to meet him. This features a 24-page booklet featuring Cole's photography, such as this, all that. I'm not going to show everything. All that. Really beautiful booklet with, again, fantastic photography, fantastic design as well. And there we are. And that's the back. Yeah, and there was an Obi strip as well with this. So once you open the package, break the shrink wrap, you have to think what to do with the Obi strip. Alan Ryder from Mummies and Madmen and Sinestra, and who helps me with my YouTube channel uploads. I think he glued his Obi strip onto the spine of this, which I would never do myself. I'll just have to keep it with the package. Maybe it'll even fit inside. I don't know. Yeah, it'll fit. It actually fits inside. But Alan glued his on. I would never do that. Oh, it makes me think of those second-hand records people. Well, that I bought as well, where when you buy a second-hand record and it all looks great until you just find a little somebody just put their signature on there, their name. You know, it's obviously where they've taken the record to a party or taken it round, you know, somewhere. They've taken it somewhere, and but I always imagine a party, and they just want to play it, and they don't want to lose the record, you know, at the party or whatever. So they put their name on there. I hate it. Although, you know, I think it was Will Sargent of Echo and the Bunnymen's first book. He said he likes that because it suggests a story, you know, to the record, you know, and that it applies another dimension to the, you know, to the history of the record. You know, who was that person? Blah blah blah. No, I like everything to look nice, so as nice as possible. So yeah, I hate scrunched up record sleeves and all the rest of it, and stickers that won't remove. So anyway, I'm completely detouring from the main point. There is an Obi strip, and you can decide whatever you want to do with that. Excuse me, I need some tonic water. So yeah, so Bass Communion. I've said this many times in the past when I receive a deluge of orders, as I am for Bass Communion at the moment. I'm receiving orders daily. It's ridiculous. I'm trying to keep up with the direct orders that came in before the CD. I'm trying to chip away at those, and at the same time, there's more and more orders coming in. I'm not complaining. It's fantastic. It's great that the CD has got this attention. But as I've stressed before, it's only me doing this. I also have a day job. I don't work full time, but I do work. I've got a young daughter as well, dog, 2 cats, wife. I also try to write. I've also got other releases happening, Hunting Lodge, Triple LP. I've not even had time to think about the Hunting Lodge LP, Triple LP set since I returned from England last week. Really haven't had time for it because I'm just so immersed in Bass Communion at the moment and the tail end of the Splintered CD that I haven't had time to devote myself to anything else. I've got other releases happening. As I said, Kleistwahr, Reverse Image, Thomas Bay, William Bailey, the When Worlds Collide double LP, the final double LP. I've got lots of things happening, and there's only myself, packing orders whenever I can, and until I reach the point of collapse. And I'm only human, so I need to relax in the evening because I'm dead. So 10 p.m. in the evening, I'm ready for a film, or a book or whatever. So, or even some. No, I don't generally watch anything mindless, but maybe a series or whatever. So, but yeah, I need to just watch something and kind of decompress. Like many people, I don't have the same energy as 20 or 30 years ago. I'm dead in the evening, so mid to late evening. So yeah, Bass Communion orders are going out now daily, and I'll probably be shipping orders for the next, direct orders for the next 2 weeks minimum. This week in Poland, we've got a holiday, a long weekend from Thursday. Most people have got the Friday off as well. Many places are closed on Friday, so it's the second long weekend this month. So I've only got tomorrow and Wednesday, maybe Friday if the post office is open, but I'm limited with what I can do this week, and then back to it from Monday next week. But I can only take, as I always say, I can only take a certain amount, a backpack full of packages to the post office every day. I'm not going to load up the car with bags and bags of CDs. The poor lady at the post office would have a heart attack. So I can only send out a certain amount each day. But bear with me. Already, and typically, because the release date for the Bass Communion was on Friday the 24th, I've already had many people write to me saying, "Where's my CD? What did I expect?" It was only released officially on Friday, so that means officially I should have started sending the CDs or packing the CDs from Friday. It's Monday now. Bear with me, please. Luckily, most people are not like that, but I've had quite a few. Like, where's my CD? I had some irate guy write to me yesterday, and even telling, sort of suggesting things that I could do to help encourage direct orders. Of course, he didn't buy anything else except the Bass Communion CD. I've only had a few Bass Communion fans, Stephen Wilson fans, buy other releases that I do. It's a really weird Well, maybe that's true of some of the other artists that I work with as well, but it's really pronounced with the Steve. I think he's just got a kind of solid fan base that just buy everything he puts his name to, and they're not necessarily interested in this kind of area of music um, beyond what he does, you know. Um, but yeah, I've only had about 6 people who've then gone for the 7 CD deal, for example. Um, so, or who've written and said, "Oh, great things you're doing with the label," and then they place an order for 2 or 3 other CDs or some other vinyl or whatever. Um, but yeah, predominantly it's Stephen Wilson fans just seem to be in their own, um, in their own bubble. So, um, um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, there we are. That's how it is. I think I've rambled enough. I'll put links below for the 7 CD deal. If you're interested in the Splintered CD, you might want to consider partaking in the 7 CD deal. You can start from Mummies and Madmen or Fallen Sun if you want, in which case you'll get the 2 or 3 CDs, and then the balance will come as new CDs are released. The Bass Communion CD is not part of the 7 CD deal, simply because it just costs a lot more than the average CD that I do. Um, Considerably more. So sorry about that. So if you're interested in the Bass Communion CD, you have to order it separately to the deal. Otherwise, yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say. I'll be back here again soon. I'm sure it'll be bloody hot again. It's absolutely blazing here. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks a lot, and until next time. Cheers. Bye bye.